Alright, so next up is going to be talking about the scales. I did consider putting, 3 different videos for major, minor, pentatonic, but I just figure I'll just put them all together, wherever we are in the lessons. Like if we're starting to learn scales, wherever we are in this, you can just watch it and pick up what you need from this. And then obviously there's nothing stopping you from learning ahead of where we are in our lessons if we're like halfway through one of these scales but not another, because inevitably I'm going to get there during our lessons. So if you got a head start on it, why not, right? So let's go ahead and look first at the major, just because it's kind of a foundation and it's really the most recognizable to people. So I just happenstance gonna pick G, and when we're doing a major scale, we actually start with our third finger. And the reason why I do this is because the positioning doesn't need to change if we start with that finger. I won't need to shift or anything. My thumb can literally just sit there. My hand is gonna sit there. The only thing they're moving is just my fingers down the fretboard. So when we're doing a G, we're going to be starting with our third finger on the 3rd fret, pinky up to the 5th fret. It's going to be an A. Then we're going to go index finger to our 2nd fret. It's going to be a B. 3rd finger rolls right into a C. Then we're going to use our pinky. We're going to jump up to a D. Then index finger down to the 2nd fret, E. Now here's the tricky part with major scales. You would assume you're going to use your 3rd finger again because we have been so far, but no, we're going to jump to our 4th finger already, going to an F sharp, and then finally finishing up G with our pinky. And there's our octave right there. So we went full circle. And then practice also going back down. So that is the major scale. So we'll go ahead and start with the natural minor. The natural minor scale. Let's say we're doing G again. We'll stick with G. So we're going to be doing 3 with our index finger this time. Then we're going to jump all the way up to our 4th finger. We're going to be doing an A. Then a B flat. That'll be our pinky on the 6th fret. We're going to go back down to the 3rd fret, 2nd string now with our index finger. That's a C. D, 5th fret with our 4th finger, then 5th finger pinky on the E flat. Next we're going to go back to our index finger on the D string. We're now at an F before finally reaching a G with our 4th finger. And then again, go back down. Very similar to the natural minor is the harmonic minor, and the only difference is a single note that we have to worry about, and it comes at the very end. So we'll go ahead and begin doing the natural minor. Now here's where the change is. I'm going to be using my 3rd finger to go to the 4th fret. Okay, so that is going to be an F sharp and then a G. Back down. So now that we have the minors taken care of, there is a variation minor, and that is the pentatonic. And the pentatonic minor is a little bit different because it omits certain minor notes. But depending on the stylization of how you play it, you're actually relatively safe also having chromatics in there. And a chromatic is simply just running up every single fret. So we'll go ahead and first look at the regular pentatonic. Again, we'll be starting at G. Alright, so we're going to have our 3rd fret. We're going to skip our 5th fret, go straight to our 6th fret, B flat. Then we're going to go back to our 3rd fret, C. 4th finger to D, index finger to F, finally, fourth finger to G. So that is the pentatonic. Now, the wonderful thing about the pentatonic is that it's very okay to also like do a little bit of walking in there, make it a little more bluesy, right? So you can kind of walk around as well. And that'll be a little bit more useful for a bass player rather than a guitar player. So those are the scales. You should definitely practice them, have them all understood and in your pocketbook, because what ends up coming on later on when we start making chords or we start looking at song structure, solo structure, anything of that nature, how harmonies are put together, how even basically how melodies are put together, it's very much dependent upon these scales. And so if we understand them, then it's much easier to make connections and gain an understanding of a song that you wouldn't have otherwise. Alrighty, hope you learned something.